Hi, how are you doing? So it's night. This is our nighttime vlog for today, and it's been a crazy day getting ready to go back to New York, and that's one of the things that I love the most about travel. It's just full on. It's chaotic all the time. Anybody who's travelled on a business trip will totally understand that. It's almost as if you leave yourself loads of time and you take up every single second of it. Like, even managing to grab 10 minutes for a vlog, it's now about 9:45 at night, and I did the first one I think at 9 o'clock this morning, and it's just been flat out since then. And when we spoke this morning, I was talking about lists and how you can structure your day, and how then at the end of the day, if you've got a time you need to meet, if you work backwards from that time and actually set yourself in things to do during those times. So that's all fantastic, and planning tools are great, and doing lists is fantastic, and oh, you're so organised. And then something happens. You just get a total curveball and you need to go and deal with that. And this is where the distinction between reactive work and proactive work comes in, because a lot of the things that you do on a daily basis are reacting to situations and circumstances beyond your control, almost to a certain extent, but definitely external. So for example, one of the team sends me an email and says, really, really need you to have a look at this, it's came through urgently. That's urgent. I look at that because I'm not doing anything that I'm doing if it's not for helping them. So if something comes through from them and they say it's urgent and they've classified it as urgent, that's urgent. I deal with that. Same as if you had a meeting planned and it runs over, but it's a fantastic meeting and you're really keen to get the content, that's important. Do you know what I mean? So there's always going to be things that come up which affect your day. And the most important thing as an entrepreneur is to get a really good balance between things that you need to make room for and things that are just going to distract you from your goal. Because if your goal for the day, for example, my goal for today is get out of here at 11 o'clock and get to the airport, be fully packed, have everything organised, and have rested. So I've managed to get some sleep. And I did do that. I got like an hour less sleep than I planned. For me, sleep is always the first thing to go when other things creep in. Other people will prioritise differently. Other people will prioritise sleep, and they will maybe give up on things like, I don't know, maybe they have gym time planned in and they'll go, instead of going to the gym, I'm going to do this, and that's okay, and I'll get rid of it. Or they'll have maybe time that we're going to do social media and they'll get rid of that. Everybody has kind of different priorities. By the way, I don't schedule in gym time, so that's why I don't give up on gym time. I should do that though. So how do you know when things are coming in and they're important distractions, and how do you know when things are non-important distractions? And I honestly think it's just experience and what your own personal circumstances are. For example, there's a lot of people that don't think an inquiry or a communication from a lower member of staff in their organisation is worthy of their time. And okay, there's something in that, but the way I see it is, when you're bringing people in and you're employing people and you're ultimately responsible for everything that they do, as long as they're not coming direct to you with something that somebody else can resolve, I think it's always important to set your time aside for them, because they're the ones in the front line of your business. So they're the ones that are out there on the coalface. They're the ones that are dealing with customers. So they're the ones that are just going to need that wee bit extra of support. But wherever I can, if there's something, for example, if I'm trying to organise a meeting with somebody, or there's something that one of the team can help me with, wherever I can, I feed that back to them in order to help my time. So if I'm constantly making demands on their time, but they don't feel as if they can have any of my time, it's not really a fair balance. Obviously there's got to be boundaries along that, and it's got to kind of fit in the order of importance with what you're doing. The same as when it comes to networking meetings and meetings. I was speaking to somebody who was away at a course, and at the end of the course there was a networking meeting after it, and their option was, I can get a train straight home after the course, or I can get the overnight train and go to the networking part. And I'm like, you're not going for anything other than the networking. If you're going to a course or you're going to something that's a talk or something like that, that's all fantastic. But there's not a lot of information that will be there that you probably couldn't find elsewhere. Right, that's just the nature of these things. Obviously, if it's a keynote speech and you want to hear that person, that's excellent. Like, oh, that's fantastic, you can go along. But don't expect too much of the event itself if it's an event which is just your bog standard. Come on a course, come learn about this, or come to see our exhibition or something like that. It's all about the networking. You're not paying the ticket price for the entry to that event, you're paying for the delegate list of all of these contacts who are either in the same industry as you, or at the same stage as you, or in the same geographical location. So I would prioritise that. So I would prioritise networking. So if an opportunity came up, for example, today when I was getting ready packing, if an opportunity had come up to grab a coffee with somebody extremely influential and somebody I'd been trying to get in front of, or somebody I just very much value their time and we discuss ideas and it motivates me or something like that, I would prioritise that over some of the stuff that I had on. So it's a personal thing to a certain extent, but what you need to be careful of is that you're not just prioritising stuff that you enjoy doing. That is the trap that it's really, really easy to fall into. So look at the actual work that you're doing and work out the return on investment for each individual part of the work and how much you could pay somebody else to do that work. And the 3 rules, which I know we've covered before, are ditch it, do it, or delegate it. And if you've got something that's lurking about your to-do list, either ditch it, and it's amazing the stuff that you can ditch. Like if you've got something, and that doesn't mean you ignore the person who sent you or anything like that. It's just a case of, I'm really sorry, I'm just too busy for this at the moment. Best of luck with it. I'm sorry I can't get involved. Or it's looking at something you've been planning to do and going, I've been planning to write that business plan for a while. Okay, how crucial is it? I have a business plan. Is that enough to get by? Is it more important to work on this? Whatever it is, you can ditch it. And then if you do it, do it. Set aside time in your calendar to do it and get it done. And don't allow any other distractions. Set yourself 45 minutes. Nobody needs to get a hold of you in 45 minutes that can't wait till the end of that 45-minute period. Do you know what I mean? And if so, I'm sure you can come up with some emergency disaster plan. But when you run your day thinking that there's going to be a fire or there's going to be a disaster, you're never going to get any work done. Give yourself 45 minutes. And at the end of the 45 minutes, give yourself the remaining 15 minutes of the hour to then just get a catch up with what you've missed. If you really feel like you need to keep your hand in and you've got to micromanage at this stage and everything like that, that's fine. You've got 15 minutes every hour. But for that 45 minutes, you just do that task. And then the other one is delegate it. Is there somebody who could do this task actually better than you? Probably. So if it's a research-based task, there's always somebody who can do it better than you. If it comes down to your time with somebody, your time is extremely valuable. So make sure that you're the best. Your time's extremely valuable. So is theirs. Make sure you're the best person for them to meet with. The amount of times that people have asked for a meeting with me, and I know they don't need a meeting with me, I know they need a meeting with Brian, because it's something to do with Glasgow, and I don't have anything to do with Glasgow. I would happily give them my time because I think a lot of them and I'm really keen to meet with them, but I can't help them. So literally I would be meeting with them and then they would be meeting with Brian. Delegate it. You can also delegate smaller tasks. For example, Lauren takes care of everything to do with my calendar and my diary, and it does seem silly sometimes, saying to people, right, could you speak to Lauren and she'll get a date in the diary. But the amount of emails back and forward that go into putting a date in the diary is actually quite time consuming. So just having somebody who can deal with that, who knows roughly what your priorities are and who can manipulate things in the diary to suit, that's fantastic. So again, delegate it. So do it, ditch it, or delegate it, and apply that test to everything in your calendar, to everything that you've got going on. And what you'll very quickly find is, see all that stuff that you've been prioritising, see all those things that you thought were urgent, they're not really that urgent and they're not really a high priority. The biggest priority is to make sure that when you're going through your day, that you're setting out a clear intention for how you want your day to go, and that you're achieving something which is pretty close to a representation of that intention by the end of the day. It won't be perfect, but it wouldn't be fun if it was perfect. And as long as you get to where you want to go and you're taking each day at a time and everything's just a small milestone, and if you veer off course, you're just adjusting and reassessing, then you're going to get there eventually. Don't sweat the small stuff. Don't sweat that you didn't have half an hour to spend doing that research task you needed to do. It'll be okay. There's always tomorrow. Well, yeah, mostly there's always tomorrow. Okay, I'll have another vlog from the airport, guys, and this will probably be on the kind of essentials and stuff that you need for travelling. That just depends how fast it goes in the airport. If I don't have time, I'll do one tomorrow, and I'll be from New York. So that'll be completely forgetting about travel and just probably talking about how awesome Central Park is. That's okay, isn't it? Right, have a great night, and I'll speak to you all soon. Cheers, bye-bye.